Have you guys ever wondered how black belts that don't have access to a lot of other high level black belts are able to still improve and compete at the highest level? It's interesting because I had this question asked to me today during a private lesson about, like, what do I do to continue to improve to be able to compete at the adult level and to still get improvement when I don't have access to a lot of really high level black belts? And it was a really interesting question because I immediately started thinking about all the training partners that I have at my gym that I've built from square one with them for the last like little over 4.5 years, and how the great reactions I get. But then I also started thinking about all the times that I cross train and travel and go 2 hours one way to go train with some world class athletes, or even 8 hours at other points to train. And I got to thinking, I was like, those things are beneficial, but the real big thing that I do and that I've seen my other friends that also compete at the adult level do when they don't have access to a lot of high level black belts or any at all is actually the same thing that everybody should be doing. In fact, like, this would be advice I would give to myself that I truthfully wish I did sooner. And the biggest thing obviously is like showing up to practice, but having a focus on what you guys want to get better at. And it was interesting because I had this epiphany while after the conversation, while I was doing one of the big things that I feel like has made a significant impact to my jiu-jitsu. And I'm going to tell you guys in this video, this one thing in itself will make, in my opinion, the biggest impact, because this really impacted me. And if it impacts me, I'm very confident it's going to do the same for you guys, because it's done the same thing for my other athletes that train every day, multiple times a day. And that thing is filming your sparring rounds. I would even go to an extent of like not just sparring from the feet, but also situational rounds of positions you're also drilling with, getting different varied levels of resistance. But in this video, I want to talk about the idea that you can compete at the highest level without the highest level training partners around you, by obviously making sure your training is in order, studying film, having an idea of what you want to improve at. You can still do all those things and still feel like you're not making the progress you want to make. And I'll tell you, filming your sparring and training is huge, because when I go back and I watch the film, like, I have memory of what happened. I have memory of things that went well, memory of things like I want to do better. There are some rounds I may feel like I didn't do as good. Some rounds I may feel like I did really good. And what's crazy is that our memory will lie to us. It's not going to give us the full truth. We'll remember actual parts of it, but remember, partial truths are not true. You're missing a big part of the puzzle. So for an example, there are times I may be like, man, in that round, I don't feel like I did as good. It took me, I don't know, hypothetically, like longer to pass, or I missed this opportunity. And then I go back and look and I'm like, oh, that exchange was nowhere near as bad as what I thought it was. And it was actually pretty good. Like, I did this well, I did this well. It wasn't so much what I did, but it was what my training partner did. And I need to come up with a solution for that reaction. So if they do this, I do that. Then there are times I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to watch that round. I really dunked on that guy, or I did really good. Whatever phrase you like to throw out there, right? And then I watch it back and I realize there were some things I didn't do so hot, right? Because sometimes in training, especially in tournaments, you guys can get what's called a false positive. So for example, there are techniques you can clearly do to some of your friends that don't train jiu-jitsu, and it works, but then you try it against somebody who's pretty darn good, and it's not going to work, right? Which is one of the things we got at our gym. Like, we don't care if our technique works. We only care about who it works against. But because I film those sparring rounds, and I have a lot of my athletes, especially the ones that want to compete, film just about all their training, they have the actual truth about how their progression is going. And when you have that information, you realize, like, information about your training is power. Like, it is huge. And what's even crazier is that you can take that film, and even if you don't know how to exactly diagnose it, what I should have done here or there, you can ask somebody you know that's better than you. You can send that film cut down to a certain part, send it to somebody who's an extremely high level jiu-jitsu that you trust, and ask them for help. You would be surprised on the volume of help you can get just by asking. Obviously, you could pay for those private lessons that help, but just asking somebody for help, like, hey, what would you do in this position here? Or, hey, what can I do, not to stop this, but what can I do to make this off balance, or this pass, or this thing somebody was doing more difficult, to help you progress further into the round? Those things in themselves will make a significant impact in your jiu-jitsu. And I really believe this is one of the key tools that I've been able to use that has made a significant improvement in my jiu-jitsu. There's obviously other things that'll help too. Yes, strength training, being healthier, eating good food, studying film, getting instructionals, training every single day, or a little bit more than what you do right now. Sometimes you can argue even private lessons would be a big help. But I think above those things, one of the easiest things you guys can do is prop up your phone and film those rounds.